I've been doing this event. It's turned into an event.
What do you think that makes like a festival successful?
I don't want to be rude.
Right. The text, you have to check the grammar, but like for the phone call, you don't have to. Tell me about the marketplace.
To be rich, I would say you can, because I'm 41 and I am.
Why do you think people don't call?
When I don't answer the phone, they're dealing with a real life felon and a dangerous person if you kind of...
Did he catch those pedophiles? What is going on, guys? Welcome to Be Frank Podcast, episode 14. We have a special guest, Blake Lankford, today. He is a musician and event planner, and I'm excited to learn about what's going on with you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Yosuke. It's good to see you, brother.
Good to see you. So what have you been up to?
I have been, if we're going to go immediate history, kind of like we were talking about before we started, I've been doing this event. It's turned into an event, and it's called the Seventh Day Rebellion, and it's a collection of songwriters that come together similar to a family reunion, and we'll do it around every other month, and that's kind of the magic number we found. We used to do it every week, every Sunday, and then we kind of just turned it. I feel like when we break it down to like once every other month, it's everybody's more enthusiastic about it, and it gives me more time to plan it.
Yeah.
And so the past few events have gone really well, and the past two events we've been doing it at Bandy's. I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's over there by the Top Golf, and there's a new addition, sidecar and all of that.
That areas have expanded so much, for sure.
I think it's going to be, in like 3 years, I think it's going to be completely packed with businesses and shopping areas and things, and it already kind of is.
Yeah.
But the parking infrastructure and things looks like it's ready to facilitate something there. But we've done the last two events there, and they've gone so well. We have basically, just for anyone that doesn't know what the Seventh Day Rebellion is, here in Oklahoma City, we just, as songwriters, get together and we swap songs, original songs, and at Bandy's it'll be 4 different artists, and each one of them will play one song, and then it's on to the next 4 artists, and we do this for 5 hours, from 3 to 8. And we have the best sound guy in the state that I've worked with for sure, and his name's Danny Barry. He's also a guitar player himself, but he does a great job of getting everybody's sound dialed in. And this next one, it's grown to such a point that this next event, we want to bring in the best in the business at doing video. So we want to make sure that we have documented this thing that's starting to grow, because it's been a long time in the making, but not all of it has been worthy of necessarily documenting.
Yeah.
I think memory.
I mean, I would say like everything is worthy of documenting, right? It's like a kind of things like whenever I start this like a YouTube journey, and then like, man, like I can't wait to be like, I have 1 million subscribers to document myself. But like, I think a lot of people love the initial stage. Like I think like even like at those like events you're doing, I think that there's no cap on like when you have to document. I think that documenting can start like the day you were born, almost,
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I to your point, I would say that maybe even now is kind of the time where I'm realizing that more. Yeah. Because maybe it has been all the while.
You want to get closer a little bit?
Yeah, apologies.
Yeah.
It's probably been worth documenting the whole time, and we definitely have a lot of pictures thanks to Kim Reynolds. I don't know if you know her, but she's a photographer, and she's one of my best friends in the world. But she's made most of the pictures for most of the people that have played over the years at the Seventh Day Rebellion. But past that, I just feel like now's the time for me to make a bigger effort to get everybody involved in some kind of project that we can all have, like individually. We will all have a video that we can use for our own use, whatever that is. And I mean, I'm 41, and it's never really occurred to me to really invest in a high quality video or
Yeah.
audio, but I enjoy watching them.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to me in this way. And there's other ways I'm going to be looking for as we grow.
Yeah.
But this is 13 years in the works, and now at this last 2 years where we're really starting to catch traction.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be important for me to just really explore every creative idea that not just I have, but other people have,
Right.
towards contributing toward the vision, which is giving the songwriter the best stage, giving the songwriter the best crowd, the best venue,
Yeah.
the best sound, just give them the best and then document it.
So did you say swap songs or song
Yeah.
swap? How's that work?
So over the course of 5 hours, we'll have, I think it's 5 groups or so, however many, but it's 4 different people. One person will sing their song, and then they'll just go down the line, and it's just a swap. So
like a one person starts singing, and then they like a first verse, and then another person starts singing.
with the terminology, that would actually make more sense. But in this specific scenario, maybe even swap may not be the best way to describe it, because a swap would indicate there's a give and a return.
Right.
And a lot of times when we did this, that's the case, because every artist would get to play sometimes for like an hour.
Right.
But we have so many now that we have to do one song a piece. And even then we went over time last time.
Gotcha. It's like kind of like a jam session almost.
It can be, and it has been.
Yeah.
But I will say it's a little bit more concise in that if you have a specific project that you want to present,
Yeah.
let's say you bring it to a film festival, and I'm kind of speaking out of my area of expertise here, but
Yeah.
I'm just trying to relate in a way that's different. You have something that you've already created,
Yeah.
and you just want to share it, but you're sharing it a part of a bigger project.
Nice.
And so that's kind of what, as songwriters, what everyone's doing.
Gotcha.
They're just kind of showing up and saying, here's my song, and then let's hear yours. And it
Oh,
kind of
okay.
drives everyone to write. It also inspires, each other to, like, what to write. Sometimes someone has a way of saying something that kind of sparks some creativity or a road that you want to explore further.
So it's like the song has been written on live, or like it's already written?
That would be interesting. I think the only one of us that I know personally that could really succeed at that is Mike Hosty.
Oh, really?
He could.
Hosty is legend.
And everyone's seen this. I'm not special in this, but I think it's special that even more so that I'm not. But Hosty, I've seen him, and you have too, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Let me make sure mine's on silent. Make sure that wasn't me. But Hosty is one of those guys where he'll say, take a bar tab, and everybody on the bar write down a word, any word you want. And you give it to him, and he writes a song on the spot with every word in that, on the napkin of the bar tab mentioned.
Oh, damn.
I don't know anyone else that can do that.
That's
Maybe they're
crazy.
out there.
Yeah. It's like a almost freestyle rapper kind of deal.
Yeah.
Didn't he get a documentary made for him like recently?
That's right. It was at Harkins, wasn't it?
Yeah, I don't remember, but like I saw on the Facebook like Mike Hosty's like a documentary. It was like a high quality production, I think. And then I was like, damn, I want Mike Hosty to come on the podcast, and I messaged him. He's like, yeah, I'll come. But like after that, like I haven't heard back from him. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I want to watch that documentary.
If with your permission,
Yeah.
I'm going to ask him again to be on this.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to also stay on him because I think he would really enjoy this.
Yeah.
And I think that I would enjoy watching the interview as well.
Yeah. And then I mean like Mike Hosty, I think that my best friend who passed, that he made a music video for Mike Hosty for a college project. That was almost 10 years ago. And that was the first music video I worked on in in my life, So like his music, I mean, I know he's a legend in Oklahoma,
Yeah.
but like I didn't know he was a legend back then, because I just came to Oklahoma City and I didn't know nothing. And then Joey like introduced me to Mike Hosty and all that kind of stuff. And then I was telling people that, yeah, like I worked on this music video. Everybody's like, really? Like that was first music video? That's cool. Like he's kind of legend.
Hosty. Yeah, and also talking to him, it's, he doesn't have that like legend, I don't know. He's just real down to earth, and he's a pretty cool dude, I think.
Yeah.
He was a part of the first event we did at Bandy's.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, he actually kicked us off. I asked him if he would play first.
Yeah.
Just to kind of make sure everyone got there,
Yeah.
and everyone did. So
I bet like he brings crowds and all the time, And then, I mean, for those people, listeners, don't know about you, right? Like I asked this question, like if you meet somebody at the bar, like, hey, what do you do? What do you explain? How do you explain?
Like what I do?
Yeah, what do you do? Yeah.
So I would say my main source of income has been, I would just label it broadly, music. So be it performing music, being sitting around the house and playing music, and then somehow figuring out a way to generate revenue on Facebook Marketplace. I try and tie everything into music. And anyone that knows me personally knows that there's not really a month that goes by, and I think this is true of everyone, at least that I know, especially recently, where it's like, there's struggles and there's things that maybe you used to think were struggles and they're not so much anymore. And it's just like, I definitely struggle, and I think that's inevitable for everyone. Yeah. But to anyone that wants to just do whatever they want to do, I would say you can, because I'm 41 and I am, and I'm not famous and I'm not rich, and you could, fill this room with things that you're not, but I think that I could also fill this room with things I am, and like music's probably the best label I'd put on it.
Nice. Yeah, and then I was talking to somebody else the other day about like, hey, we strive for like a freedom, right? So whenever you're striving for freedom, the free time, like a lot of people like kind of label that free time as like a cocktail on like a beach, or like go for mountains, or do like a hiking or trip or whatever. But like the guy who I was talking to, he got rich and he did that. And he said, well, he got bored, pretty
Just
much.
Get bored.
Yeah, I got bored, like sitting on the beach, like not doing anything. So
that makes sense too.
Yeah, and then so he was telling me, say, like a real freedom you can get with like a career or like a being happy is that you just living the day by day, just doing what you love. Yeah. So that makes sense what you're saying about the music, Yeah. Because a lot of people say, let's get rich. And then now what?
I also say that. But, I mean, that's the goal, right? I mean, why wouldn't you want to be rich? And, not just money, but why wouldn't you want to be? Right. I do think that, I think it's a good time to be rich if you are. And I think it's also, I mean, we're pretty good. Everyone I know, everyone in my neighborhood, we wave at each other, and I go and get coffee in the morning. I open my curtains. I got a pretty cool routine at 41, and it sounds pretty boring when you say it or explain it, so I don't. But there's definitely something to just having that thing that makes you happy, and like mine's turned into a routine. It's kind of turned into a bunch of things I like doing. That I just do every day,
Yeah. Tell me about the marketplace. Like, how'd you get
the
into it?
Marketplace? Yeah. So,
I mean, you look like art dealer too, like got cool chain and all that stuff. Yeah. Is that from Marketplace too?
These are actually 3 different rings. So I don't wear rings. I don't know if I ever have. I've never even been married. So it's like, I didn't say I'm not getting married because I don't wear rings. It's not like, hey, I can't do this. Yeah. I got a ring. It wasn't that. It's just, I also have never been married and never wore rings, but I have 3 friends, individual friends, that have given me rings over the course of time. Yeah. And I don't know, just sit around, made a necklace.
Oh, nice.
You know, but as far as marketplace goes,
Yeah.
selling things, I do light up and I do have fun selling on marketplace because I have a truck and I can drive to thrift stores and I can find big trash day even. You can find, I found like in good neighborhoods, I found this really nice painting with a really nice frame.
Yeah.
Sold it for $100 and had 2 people bidding for it. And I may have even ended up on the short end of that stick because it was an actual painting by some artist that they knew who it was.
Yeah.
But like things like that's exciting for me because it's like instead of something going to a landfill, you generate money for yourself, and then you also connect someone with something that they want.
Yeah.
So there's a different kind of like fulfillment and it's small, but it's like that's something like that is more. There's more substance to that kind of fulfillment than there is like anything else really I do online.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like if I'm on Facebook and I'm like, well, I disagree with this, so I'm going to engage myself for 3 days in an argument now.
Yeah.
I don't get a lot out of that.
Yeah.
I have before gotten a lot out of that. I used to on Mondays.
Yeah.
On Sundays, it would be a long day for me, and I would drink.
Yeah.
And then my Mondays, I'd be hungover.
Right.
And so I'd just troll everybody on Mondays. So
you had a schedule going on.
So there's fun to be had. I just don't have that fun anymore, really.
Yeah.
But marketplace for me is kind of like my way to take an otherwise waste of time, which is my phone.
Yeah.
I rarely call anyone.
Right.
No one rarely, I don't really get a lot of calls. Everyone, messages.
Yeah.
But that's nothing new. Everything else online, if I really just evaluate it, it's not fulfilling.
Yeah.
Except for, when I do my advertisements for events,
Right.
connecting sometimes with people. And I mean,
Why do you think people don't call? Is that because people are just shy or takes time? But for me, calling is a lot faster to me.
that's a good question, and I have thought about that. But what have you, I think I've come to a conclusion, and I'll give mine first if you want.
Okay.
But I am interested to know what you think about that too, because I
Yeah.
have thought about this.
Yeah.
When I don't answer the phone, it's usually because I don't want to be rude and I don't know how much time I'm going to have to sacrifice. And I usually can anticipate, am I going to be engaged in a conversation for a while? And it's
Gotcha.
just like, I guess if you really boil it down, it's just kind of being selfish with your time. But I'm not so certain that's a bad thing.
But texting, you have to take time, but also you have to wait for the reply time too, right?
Well, let's do this.
Yeah.
Let's choose a team and let's debate it.
Okay.
Which do you want to be pro call or do you want to be pro text? I'll be the other.
I'll be pro call.
Okay.
I'm a pro call person.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will say I'm usually a pro call, but this is being recorded.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there may be people that don't think that that's
Yeah,
true.
because I think honestly I'll start, right? What if because people watch podcasts, right?
Yeah.
What if people watch? Do you think people watch texting? It could be a podcast, but just a texting. But that's not interesting, right? Maybe that might be $1 million idea.
We might be onto something there. Okay, so I would say if I'm going to argue text,
Yeah.
I can disseminate information. I hope I use that. Did I use that word correctly? It sounds dangerously close to a word that's used incorrectly.
Yeah.
But that's...
See, that's another thing. The text, you have to check the grammar,
That's
but for the phone call, you don't have to.
That's true. Okay.
Point for me, probably.
Point. Okay. So for texting, I would say it's more impersonal. So you can kind of engage at your own speed
Yeah, that's
on your
true.
own time.
Yeah.
And you kind of in that way, I feel like it's a very brilliant communication source because everyone really knows exactly where they stand with you. Because even if they maybe intended to get back to you, the truth is they're not prioritizing you, and it's not because you're not important. It's because everyone has their own life and they're doing their own things, and that's just where you rank with them.
Yeah. That.
I think texting is an honest way of doing that, no matter what's being said.
I think I agree to disagree for that statement though,
Okay.
because of that. Like texting can be misunderstood so easily. So like you're saying about like texting can showcase that where you stand, right?
Right.
Like, well, maybe like you text me like say, hey, like whatever, right? So for example, my Costi,
Okay.
right? Like I messaged him on the Facebook DM or whatever, said, hey, Hosty, like I want you to be on podcast. He's like, hell yeah, let's do it, right? And then, okay, so when you're free, right? And then I just like silent. So maybe
I'm sensing this might not even be about texting anymore. This might just be about Hosty again.
no, but like
Hosty, come on the show.
But so my point is to having a protecting Hosty side, right? Maybe
Okay.
he's like just busy or like he just like forgot, right?
Yep.
So that could be the stand. Well, my understanding is like, well, he doesn't want to be on the show,
Right.
Right. So like, my point is like that could be misunderstood
I agree.
easily, but on the phone, it's gonna be hard to misunderstand.
I agree. Are we allowed to agree with the debate?
Yeah.
I agree with that point.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you do, so how about this? A hostage situation.
Okay.
You can't call. You can't. It's not even an option.
That's true.
Texting wins.
But what if you call, right? You call, right?
Okay.
And then you put it on silent or like not silent, but like very mute, right? And you just put the phone in there. And if somebody calls and not say anything for like 5 times, people will be probably worried.
Okay. Now, if you're hiking
That is
and
true.
you see where that's going.
Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah.
Buried you, but
Yeah.
you got to be found.
Yeah.
So the texting helps there.
But I do think that this has actually happened to me right before this podcast. So I'm going to Boston, right, for this weekend to see my sister, and then we're going to watch a Bruins game for the
Nice.
hockey.
That'll really.
And then so that we landed on the Boston this Thursday, and then me and my girlfriend go see my sister and then her husband or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then they bought a ticket on Thursday, but my girlfriend had a MBA class online to like attend on the 7 p.m. So she said she can't go there. And then like I texted already to her husband and said we can't go. So they've already bought a ticket. And then now like I'm in the dilemma of like what I'm gonna do. Like so the Saturday game is like a $350 or more, so we can't pay for it, whatever. So I'm in the dilemma. So I had an option of should I call my girlfriend or should I text her, right? So I chose my text.
Of course.
Because
Of course. Less accountability.
Cause then I can give her solid explanation in a written way,
Right.
and then she can take a time to decide what she wanted to say, right? So I choose the text, but but usually I want to do the phone call.
Sure. Do you think that you avoided calling for those reasons that you said only? Or do you think there was a little bit of, I just don't want to feel the animosity if there is something that, she doesn't like about this proposal?
That's I don't know. That's something I have to ask my therapist probably.
That's true.
And I don't really understand animosity means.
So if let's say that she's not going to be happy about this,
Yes.
you're going to feel that on the phone.
Yes.
You know what I mean? With
Yes.
a pause, with a sigh, with a,
Yeah.
you're going to feel that.
Yeah.
But if you text, you can just be like, handle all of that, and then we'll reconnect when everything's fine.
Yeah, that's true. I do
Why
think
text?
I do think that I have to give the text. But do you like texting or phone call on the business calls?
Okay, so when it comes to money business,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go call for the bulk, and I'm gonna go
Interesting.
text for the documentation.
Oh, I like it. Yeah.
I do obviously when you're playing fiddle faddle with your friends, it's
Yeah.
different than your money.
Yeah.
So if it's money, I think we can both agree that calling, you know when you've reached an agreement, or at least you know when you're satisfied with what you think is, an agreement.
Yeah.
So then it's just, well, time gets a hold of all of us. Let's document it with
Right.
text. But I think both have an important part with business. But I'll give the slight lean definitely to calling at least first. Because there's so much, there's so many things that can slip in the cracks, as you're saying, with text.
Yeah.
And there's also value to presenting an idea and feeling the response.
Yeah.
Business or personal.
That is very true. I mean, like, do you ever had like what is that called? Like a catfish on like a marketplace? Like, is somebody like try to like
Absolutely, a lot.
what happened? Like, can you tell
Well, not
me?
like pursuing me like physically.
Yeah.
I don't know what the issue is.
Yeah.
I dress nice. I take showers occasionally. No one has stopped me fit. But as far as like trying to get my card number or something like that,
Right.
I get a lot of, hey, I'm really interested in what you're selling. Text me your number. So somehow these people are, they can utilize your phone number or your Zelle account to do things you don't want them to do.
Huh.
But as far as if catfish is specific to like being pursued, or actually like with these classes and at my age, I would definitely be at the other end of that conversation probably. If someone's be like, I don't think, I actually just watched on YouTube, what's his name? It's the host.
Host.
He's the one that did the not catfish, but it's To Catch a Predator.
Oh.
And this is like on ABC or whatever, and I forget his name, the host. But this guy was being interviewed, and he's got a really good host voice, a real good,
Like a host.
yeah,
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
But he was telling stories about how when they first did this show, and how unprepared overall, looking back, they really were for everything, because they're dealing with a real life felon and a dangerous person. If you kind of,
So like they tried to like contact Predator to contact them to catch them.
Well, he thought it would make, if I understood it right, he thought it would be, and he's right, it would make fascinating material. Chris Hansen. Great name. Great host name.
Yeah.
I'm whatever show with Chris Hansen.
Right.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
But he was, he knows that this is going to be fascinating material if you can just roll the camera and capture the moment when you see this, this pedophile, or at least aspiring pedophile, come into a situation that he thought was going to be beneficial to him. And as it turns out, there's a sabotage, and just that moment's great, but he didn't quite, and he didn't think through how, I should bring security in.
Yeah. True.
I should have someone
Yeah.
that's capable of defending me.
Yeah.
And all that stuff that he ended up doing. But there's something on YouTube or maybe Netflix, but he's got something out that I saw, Chris Hansen. And I would say that instead of a ride along with a cop,
Yeah.
I would be more interested in a ride along with Chris Hansen for one of those episodes. That's something. It's obviously an unfortunate situation, but if it's going to happen, it's like a car wreck. It's like, I don't want it to happen.
Right.
But if it is going to happen, I want to see it.
Damn. Did he catch those pedophiles?
I actually don't know how that ends up going.
Is he still on the Netflix?
He's on.
Netflix said the show's been canceled.
Oh, it show's being canceled. Well, we'll see. I want to watch it now more.
Chris Hansen, if you're listening to this and you're not in jail and you're not the reason the show is canceled, I'm sure you'd be welcome on this podcast as well. Once Hosty's been on.
You can be like co-host, and then we can interview him. What's up?
Hey, Yosuke, what are you doing here? What are you doing here, Yosuke?
Yeah, that. I mean, it's interesting, right? Like, it's a lot of people. Like, you're talking about the documentation, right? Like, a lot of people document, and then like, so you started saying like you want to document as a musician to showcase, and then before I started YouTube, right? So I thought like documenting my life and the showing, putting it online, or putting my like a social media presence to the world. It's like such a kind of like a douchey and arrogant move, but like now it's kind of like I want to show to inspire people, and the hater gonna hate.
I like what you're doing specifically.
Oh, thank you.
I if I understand what you're saying,
Yeah.
I do think that that's a line that everyone on every post should kind of feel like, they should toe maybe.
Yeah.
And maybe not. Who cares?
Right.
But for my own personal preference, we all click those videos, and I've definitely made them where you're like, oh, here we go. Someone's going to talk to this guy.
Yeah.
But so like, I don't think it's ever douchey personally if your purpose is to be uplifting or positive or encouraging or inspiring. If this is the goal, people can pick up on that regardless of intelligence level. This is something that people are very keen to. If someone's, just really trying to, they have this vanity thing. It's like, I like looking at beautiful women.
Yeah, for sure.
But there is an element to that sometimes where you're like, okay, that's how you look. Every day it's picture, 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 picture.
Yeah.
And they're just so in love with themselves. And why wouldn't they be? They're beautiful.
Right.
But that's a different kind of like, this is about, I want attention. I want to be affirmed in that way.
Right.
Whereas when you're trying to inspire someone, or you're trying to say, hey, this is what I did. I mean, why couldn't you do it?
Right.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think that there's never going to be enough of that. So as far as like what you're doing, I could totally see you though. I could totally see you be a limo, a sharp dressed limo guy or whatever,
Yeah.
like going into clubs with chains and like Miami Vice. The thing is, the dark side could take you.
Yeah.
And it would work. I would still like that probably because I know you. I'm like, my man's Molly.
Man, but I have vision of like my like a lifetime goal or whatever. I would love to have a big office building, and then walk down, and then I built the company so big, but I would like to know everybody's who's working for me. But I walk down with the shorts and the flip flops and the tank top, and then I get stopped by security. And then, who are you? And I say, well, I'm so and so. And then somebody will say, hey, you can't do that to him. He owns this place.
Okay.
That's kind of my life goal.
I've got some really, really good news for you.
Okay.
We're in a building as we speak.
Yeah.
And to my knowledge, even though there's cameras rolling in audio,
Yeah.
the people in the other room,
Yeah.
they're in their own little world,
Right.
as we are.
Yeah.
When we leave this room,
Yeah.
I can do this today. If you have flip-flops and shorts that you can put on, we can walk out of here.
Yeah.
I can play either the security role,
Yeah.
or I can be like, hey, he does what he wants. If you have flip-flops,
I do have a flip flops. Yes.
if you could change,
Yes.
and then when we go in there, I bet someone asks you, like, what are we going flip-flops now for the rest of the day?
Oh no! I mean, they will probably never say that because I'm flip flops here all the time.
Okay. All right. So maybe we'll need to plan this out a little further today.
Yeah, I think that it's so funny though, because whenever I start doing business, I think you remember whenever I start doing video production or whatever, and then whenever I was going to client meeting, I wore a suit. every single time with a suit and tie because like I was young and then I was insecure about myself of like if I don't look professional, they don't gonna take me seriously. So I
I
wore
think
it.
it's good. It's still a good idea. I think it's a valid idea regardless of how you
Yeah.
feel now. You know?
Yeah, and then now like I show up with pretty much like flip flops and shorts, and then like show up and then like we talking about different kind of price now, and then I also like they know me and then all that kind of stuff, but like also like sometimes I do wear like jacket or whatever, but I never wear suits anymore. It's kind of funny how those like people who haven't people like I guess like whenever I look at like people who just starting out, like they come to job interview with those kind of stuff,
Sure.
and then like I do a job interview so many times, but like I will never hire a person who come with like a suit on into my office.
Get out. Do you tell them to get out immediately, or do you indulge them?
No, they will probably know. I mean, like in 5 minutes, I just like, hey, anything else you want to talk about? I feel bad, but
Any last words before we never see each other again?
Yeah. But also, I did have an interview the other day. He was wanted to be like a web designer or something. I forgot, but he drove all the way from Kansas City to come here.
Oh, wow.
It was like 4 to 5 hour long drive, right?
Did you know immediately it wasn't going to work out?
Yes. So like in like 5 minutes, I was like, man, this guy is inexperienced, and then I didn't really. I mean, I like the guy, but it's just like it was not my vibe because I want to build the culture to people who are my vibe, and then they can survive what I say,
Yeah.
And so like I don't think he could work out. So then I found out he drove from all the way to Kansas City. So I was like, wait, what I'm gonna do? So I started talking to him, say, hey, what do you like and all that kind of stuff. And then I started talking to him what he likes and all that kind of stuff. And then I recommended so many restaurants. Say, hey, if you come to this place, this is the best taco place, and then this is the best sushi place, and this is the best Italian place in Oklahoma City. Hopefully he went there.
Here's a bunch of places you can eat at while you're looking for a job still. It will not be here.
Yeah, I felt bad, but I do I don't know. I do recommend people who are going to drive ask for like Zoom meeting first.
I
don't know.
Because you also don't want that added pressure of his bargaining chip is his travel time.
Yeah.
Also, does it concern you at all that we're talking openly about something? I bet you this person might watch your podcasts and stay up with your stuff.
Yeah.
And I bet he watches like, this is hard feedback. This is tough feedback.
Yeah, but I think I already told him, like
Okay,
it's like,
that's
hey,
good.
I try to be, because my company name is Frank, right? I'm trying to be
frank.
as honest as possible. So I told him, say, hey, my bad, bro. Like I know you drove 4 to 5 hours, but just like I don't think it's gonna work out in this reason. But and I started talking about like restaurant stuff, but we had a good conversation, I mean, Kansas City, I mean, I don't know, people from Kansas City might hate me, but Kansas City barbecue is so overrated.
All right. So I'm ready to engage in this debate now.
Okay, great.
And I'm best debating when I really don't have a dog in the fight. I have, when I can be completely dispassionate. Here's the truth.
Yeah.
I like all food that I can think of.
Yeah.
Now I have preferences.
Yeah.
But
What's the debate's gonna be?
so I'm going to debate. I've had Kansas City barbecue.
Okay.
I've had Memphis barbecue. I've had Texas barbecue,
Yeah.
Oklahoma. To me, I've heard Stillwater's not so good. I like it really, like Bad Brad's in Stillwater. Bad Brad's. They're not even a sponsor, but I have eaten there several times. They have really good barbecue. Kansas City had really good barbecue.
Yeah.
But I don't want to step in front of a very fast-moving train full of many people that say, if you talk about barbecue with people that love barbecue, you already lost the conversation.
Yeah,
They're
they
so
got
passionate.
they got the thing. Yeah.
I'll just say this. What is your favorite? So whatever your favorite is, I bet I like it too, but I don't know that I would notice much of a difference.
Okay, so I travel quite a bit for like I have a hospitality management group, so like that they kind of have a different states and properties. So like I go around, right, and then whenever I go around to like a film, like a commercial or something, and then I try the best thing, and then my friend. He started it. His my MMA coach too. His name is JD. He goes to a restaurant and he asks for what's the best thing. He just go like ask the waiter, say what's the best thing. I'll take the best thing.
That makes sense.
So I just started doing that too at the, like a different state, right?
Okay.
And then Kansas City, actually, like I met Jazz Hall of Fame musician. He's Lonnie McFadden. He was conducted to Jazz Hall of Fame last year. So he has like a thing on the street now, on the 18th and Vine.
That's
and then
excellent.
he's like, hey, Yosuke, you got to have this barbecue. Because I was talking shit about like, you know, like Kansas City barbecue. He's like, I will take you to the best barbecue place.
So he was trying to convert you.
Yeah,
or
man,
at least
he
plead his
took me.
case.
He
Okay.
took me, and then like it was like this huge barbecue. Like he got us because that was three of us. We were filming, but like it was for like one person. But that was for family size, you know.
Okay.
And it's so greasy or whatever, and then like I couldn't even eat it. And like it wasn't even that good.
Now, did you go into it with the attitude of I'm not gonna like it?
No, I wanted to.
You're just out.
Like literally, I wanted to say because I wanted to make a YouTube video about the Kansas City trip, and the part of the stuff is Kansas City barbecue is the best, but I couldn't make that video because Kansas City video. But you know what though?
Okay.
But Oklahoma City Collective, right?
Okay.
Collective
Yep.
in the Midtown.
Yep.
The small little kiosk barbecue. I think that's the best barbecue I ever had.
What is it called?
I don't even know the name of the restaurant, but it's in the Collective.
Okay.
You know, like across the street from Blue Garden,
Yeah.
the Collective. They have like some like a barbecue little shop.
Okay.
They have
It's like a cafeteria, like,
yeah,
isn't it?
yeah,
Like an
yeah.
adult, trendy cafeteria.
exactly.
Okay.
I mean, I think that barbecue is the best I ever
Check
had.
that out.
Yeah.
We should put their logo right here on the video.
Yeah.
And then you should get a free meal out of this. You know?
Hopefully. But wait, did you have the best barbecue?
The best barbecue I've ever had. I'm gonna say. I'm just gonna get destroyed if I say anything, really, because
Why?
nothing I say is gonna be in anyone's consideration. For the second I say anything, I can just see the fictitious, like the people that are out there,
Yeah.
and they're just immediately like, that's terrible, had it, don't like it. Okay, so I do like all barbecue, but I really did like Backdoor Barbecue when it was here. I thought the portions were too small on 23rd Street.
Yeah.
I thought the portions were too small, but I did like, what I got.
Got you. Backdoor barbecue?
Yeah, it was on 23rd Street back. 23rd's developed quite a bit.
You say that's Oklahoma City? Mm-hmm. So
We're right by it, yeah.
you say you had a Kansas City, Missouri, Texas. You liked Oklahoma barbecue the best?
Look, I'm a simple guy. I like Oklahoma. I live where I like.
Yeah.
And also, I just, as far as food goes, I like it all, but I'd never like eat anything and I'm like, well, I'm gonna remember this meal forever. I don't. Maybe.
Yeah.
I will say this though. This is a decent transition because I'm going to Key West in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Now today is January 9th. Is that correct?
I think
10th?
so.
10th?
10th. Yeah.
Man, I'm aging already. Okay, so this will be released when?
Probably like 2-3 weeks. Yeah.
2 or 3 weeks. So I'm back from Key West,
Yeah.
and it went great. I loved it. Had a great time. But every year that I go, I have a meal plan, and it's digital panhandling. But
Digital panhandling.
yep. So the first year that I went to this festival, I play as a songwriter in this festival, and the food there, they have a bunch of different types of food, mostly seafood, but a bunch of different really well-respected, well-known restaurants. And they're pretty pricey sometimes.
Right.
So my friend Eric Oftedal, the Viking, great songwriter, great friend, the first year Venmos me like $20-$30 and says, go get this fish and chips at this restaurant. Get exactly one grilled cheese, whatever he says. And I go and I do it, and I posted a thank you. Thank you, Eric, for... And then someone else sends me some money and says, go here and eat. And this happens like 7 or 8 times that year.
How did you get that gig?
So every year I just repost it.
Yeah.
And people send me money and tell me where to go. And it's the best time to go to these restaurants and eat the meal that they want me to eat at the place they want me to be at. And sometimes they send me like drink a double or whatever. Someone sent me money and told me to drink the 4 wise men or whatever. I will say I flubbed on that deal. He's already hitting me back for doing it this year.
Right.
I don't think I'm going to do it ever.
Yeah.
I'm
Do you
probably
post that thing on the Instagram or something?
So I'm Instagram. I have to connect to my Facebook because I don't know if it has to be a generational thing, because I really do think the Facebook is my connection to the world, and the truth is it's really just my connection to some people.
Right. Yeah.
But shit, Instagram. It's
Yeah.
like, man, I don't even know if I take enough pictures to validate an account, but
Yeah.
I do post it.
Yeah.
So wherever I go, I'll post pictures of the food, of me.
Yeah.
Hey, here's me, here's the food. And then occasionally we'll have a video. Like last year, I don't know if you've heard of the Red Dirt Rangers, but someone sponsored a meal that we all went out to. And so we went to this place called Moondogs in Key West and had everything we wanted for breakfast.
Yeah.
We had pastries, donuts, and then we also had like hot food like waffles and bacon and all that stuff. So next year, if you want to sponsor the Key West meal plan, just look up like Lankford on Venmo. Tell me the place to go.
So do you like rate those restaurants too?
I could.
Or you just say what do you like about it, or
I kind of just document my experience, and so far they've just been really good. I think if it were a poor experience, I would be honest about it in the best way possible.
yeah.
But I just haven't been to a bad restaurant there,
Yeah.
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 And I'm not that picky also. So it's been pretty fun, man. But yeah, I'm going, or I'm already back. I'm going there in 2 weeks. And that's one of my buddy's festivals that he started. This will be the 6th year. He took me to Steamboat Festival 7 years ago. And he kind of wanted to show me, look, we're all here in this mountain town, and everyone's waiting in line at 6 a.m.
Right.
to get tickets for next year before they see a lick of music. And it grew to such a point where he's like, well, how about we just poke a little hole in it and we just bring the runoff to the beach. Let's do the same festival. Let's just do it at the beach.
Yeah.
And 6 years later, it's sold out every year. I think everyone involved knew it was going to be a success, but until it happens, you don't know.
Yeah.
And now it has, and it's kind of incredible to be a part of. Yeah.
I mean, hosting a festival is the hardest thing, and then also what do you think that makes a festival successful? Because me and then I have another business called Provision Panda. We do throw cannabis events. So we throw last year every first Thursday adult night at Tulsa in the water park called Safari Joe Water Park, and then we brought the Whalers. The Bob Marley, the Whalers.
Nice.
Yeah. So then we had it's called Token Float, right? And it was semi-successful. We all had a great time, and then we made decent money and stuff. But it wasn't as successful as a previous year. I mean, it was successful, but it's not as much as like people attendance, right? So because we are thinking like maybe reggae music, it wasn't that vibe or whatever.
Right.
But more and more like a festival we trying to host and then throw the event. Like we're like always like, is this like musician the headliner or like a theme? Is that a location? Is that a marketing? Like we're trying to figure out what makes a festival popular and popping, right? Like what do you think about that?
That's I think just the fact that you're asking yourself that, I think that's the exact right question. And I think that is the answer also. I think Kyle Carter is kind of, I've nominated him no matter what he thinks about it, the situation. I've nominated him as one of my mentors.
Okay.
And he's always kind of steered me this direction or that direction, be it knowingly or not. He's a smart guy that does things that I also want to do and do. So like we both plan events.
Yeah.
When I first meet him, he's doing, aside from what he's doing business-wise in his other businesses, he's doing a Sunday event similar to what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And now, he's doing this huge successful festival, and not just one. Now he's up to, I think, 4 or 5 festivals, and his goal's 10.
Yeah.
Next week, Rock Island's going to have, last year they had Bret Michaels and all those 80s guys.
Nice.
Just a big 80s rock, on the boot.
Yeah.
And it's a cool thing. And he's got a country western, 90s country western festival.
Yeah.
Mile Zero is my favorite. It's the only one I've been a part of so far. So it's just tough to beat too, though. But I look up to him in that way, and I try and learn from him that way. I don't even know where I was going with that, but we're so close to the festival, and this is my favorite time of the year. So I just start thinking about that stuff.
But maybe like asking that question, right? Like
what makes it successful?
But like why do you go to festival? Like because of
this one in particular, because I was invited.
Right.
Okay, so
would you go any other festival if you're not invited?
I would say, and you did bring me back to the point I was probably aiming at initially, and that is Kyle, his whole philosophy on festivals.
Yeah.
And, what makes it successful. If he reduced it to one thing, it would be listen to the festival goer and then do what they say. Like, get their feedback, give them a forum and an opportunity, which is all year, to just get feedback. And, there's always going to be naysayers and negative people that you're not going to please them.
Yeah.
So you have to obviously take everything with a grain of salt. But there's value in feedback. If someone goes and pays X amount to spend a week to be a part of your event, and there's a lot of moving pieces and a lot of different people.
It's a lot of stuff.
A lot of experiences are happening, and it's impossible for them all to be good, you would think.
Yeah.
But they're really nailing it, and I think that's the whole philosophy behind that. I think everyone's on the same page in that way, and I think, to answer your question, the most important part would probably just be like, what do you enjoy about festivals? When you go, what is your favorite part about your favorite festival? What is your least favorite part? And just kind of evaluate it from that perspective.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's pricing is one of the heavy ones.
Yeah.
But when you bring a product to the table that's worth it, there's always going to be someone that can't afford it or doesn't want to pay it.
Yeah, true.
But there's also people that would love to, and it kind of works itself out in that way because you don't want all those people in the same room anyway.
Yeah, and it's like a Bonnaroo's premium ticket. It's like $5,000.
It's tough to think about spending $5,000 on entertainment for
like 3-4 days.
But then if you look at it from like, let's say we're time traveling back to our deathbeds.
Right.
What are your regrets? I bet our regrets are not spending $5,000 on an event.
In the Bonnaroo, yeah.
What is that Priceline commercial? It's like, are you gonna regret the places you went or blah, blah, blah. I don't know what he said, but it was to that effect. Where basically, if you're gonna spend money, why not on an experience?
Yeah, that's what
Except for prostitution.
And then also that this is a good segue to the question I asked to every guest on this podcast is the reason I'm doing this podcast is to inspire other people to see the possibility for different careers and then also different lifestyle. And then obviously you have a different lifestyle, but also like a lot of people wanted to be like an expert, a guru, said you should do this, blah, 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 right? But I think the best advice people can get is the best advice for myself. So I am very, very much capable to give myself 5 years ago myself to advice, right? Say I look at 2017 myself, say, hey, do this, probably better. You know what I mean? So 2017, what were you doing?
Wow, 2017. Honestly, it's crazy because if we're gonna date our lives, we're probably everyone's gonna go like pre-COVID and post-COVID.
Yeah, that's pre-COVID, right? 2017?
2017, I have no idea what I was doing. I have no idea.
Let's say pre-COVID, right?
Right.
What were you doing pre-COVID?
I was walking around thinking same thing I am now, which is I can probably do something better than what I am now and bigger than what I am now. And I do think that I've always been a part of a songwriting community. And so no matter where 2017 landed, I do remember a lot of that year. I was traveling a lot with Jake Flint. I don't know if you remember. And we did a lot of shows that year. And then 16, which makes sense why I don't remember a lot of it.
Right.
But we had a lot of fun. And I think that I was probably one of the last of my breed to give up on the super party lifestyle constantly, because I really enjoyed going out every night and then not just being a part of the event, but also participating in the fun.
Yeah.
And some people can probably do that. I've never been as successful doing both. You know, participating in the fun and putting on the event. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So 2017, I think, was largely used hanging out with my friend and just kind of celebrating life and I guess the twilight of my youth.
Yeah.
You know?
So then what would you give advice to the 2017 year?
Every year, wherever I found myself, I would definitely say keep your head up and keep moving.
Yeah.
And it's cliche, but the truth of the matter is I get really discouraged sometimes. And I think that's a part of the apologies for that. I thought I turned it off. I do think that's part of the human experience in general, where it's just like, as much as getting happy is, you know, there's times where, you know, you progressively, you just experience different things and you feel different ways about it. And sometimes discouragement turns into depression and on and on and on.
Yeah.
And there's always a proactive step that, you know, if you go back and evaluate, you just missed it. And maybe you didn't miss it, but you ignored it. And every year, even though it's cliche, the keep your head up, move forward kind of thing it's just mistakes are just gonna happen.
Yeah.
If you're doing anything at all.
Yeah.
I don't know everything and I don't know much, but I know I love you. But I know that whatever year I catch myself and give myself advice, nothing's going to be more helpful than, you know, I don't listen to advice usually.
Right.
You know, it's like, yeah, great, thanks for that. But keeping your head up and moving forward indicates you haven't given up and you're not staying where you're at, you know? So I'd probably say that. And I'd also say focus more on what you love and less on how much people love you, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah. That's cool. I mean, progress equals happiness, something, you know, like that's kind of.
I feel that.
Yeah. The quote, I was watching YouTube videos saying progress equal happiness. And then sometimes I go down the route is sometimes at night, like I just think about like, what is happiness? And I just go through stuff, you know, and then it comes down to it. And then I love like a quotes and those like a small saying, because maybe just my English skill, then I just don't understand at all. But like if it's like a simple term, it just makes me understand very clearly, so I can focus one thing. It's like, okay, progress equal happiness. Let's progress my life, progress my stuff, and then I am happy. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what I'm trying to do these days. But
We're actually saying the exact same thing. Then.
exactly, yeah.
I like that a lot.
It's like a small, just one word, but
it is true, because it's like if you don't move forward, even if you are having a good time where you're at, eventually you will not, because you're at the same spot.
Yeah.
So progress, like you're saying, that's exactly progress equals happiness. That's a really good one.
Cool. So what about what do you see yourself in 5 years? I know this is a little bit interviewy. The reason I'm asking this is I do have a plan.
Yep.
That because I'm doing podcast every single week, right? I meet like creative people, that people I like, or like people I get inspired from, and then from 5 years down the line, I want to release my book, which is I will not write any single word, because I'm going to transcribe everything every guest said 5 years ago advice, and then I'm going to get 5 years ago your picture, and then today's picture, and then 5 years ago later picture, and then we will just put whatever they say in the 5 years and five. Then like we'll contact 100 people, like 200 people to interview.
See how it went.
And then like I'm gonna make a coffee book. And then that's why I know this is like a interviewee question, but that's the reason I'm asking these questions.
I love it.
Yeah. So what's your 5 years future look like?
Okay, this is a good idea. I'm glad to be a part of this idea. But it's like a time capsule.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's a little bit of accountability where I might be like 4.5 years, and I'm like, oh shit, I got to do something. I got to go back to that interview.
Yeah, you can just tell tell yourself, like, you can watch this podcast yourself and say, oh, I said this,
I think in 5 years, I'll have ownership of a house and a plot of land, and I'll kind of be more independent as far as, just living in that way. I think that as far as, my business is going to be obviously more towards the production and live event side of things, facilitating. I think the event, there's no real cap, I think, that I can imagine, because when everyone's working towards one thing, and it's not even an agenda, I'm more of a facilitator. This is like something everyone enjoys doing.
Yeah.
And as long as I'm a part of something that everyone wants to be a part of in a positive way that everyone benefits from, there really is no cap. But I would say, instead of, going from a living room to a bar, and then from a bar to like an actual stage production room. And then the next step, I think, is a theater. And then from a theater to a larger, scale venue, and on. I think 5 years, a lot could happen. And I wouldn't rule any of it out, but I would definitely say a sold out theater show with a living situation that's completely independent of, probably the city in general.
Yeah.
I'm a little older, and I think the city is for people that are circulating fast.
Yeah.
I think I'm looking forward to becoming a young old guy.
Yeah.
Where I just yell at people, hey, slow down.
Yeah.
5 years, I'm going to be on my porch yelling at people to slow down. It's a neighborhood at my house after doing a successful theater event.
Nice. I can't wait to see that picture of this sold out show. That'd be a cool for the book too, but cool for your life. But yeah, I mean, do you have anything to plug? Like how events going or whatever?
Seventh Day Rebellion. The next installation of what's been an incredible run. We're really it feels like we're really just getting started on the tail end of just an incredible chapter. And I feel like a new chapter starting, and it's an explosive one as far as it's exciting for me, and I think for a lot of people. And the next event is going to be March 12th. It's at Bandy's Barbecue. It's the place with a huge, $500,000 guitar sign. It's going to be an incredible event that we're going to have the best of the best come in and do the video, and we're going to record the audio, and we're going to have promotional material that all the artists can have for themselves individually. Mile Zero Festival is a festival I'm going to in 2 weeks, and I'm looking forward to that. Kyle Carter, one of my favorite parts. I do think I want to mention Anthem Brewing is one of those people that's been at the events, and they've kind of just Max has become a new friend to me, and he's just kind of been around, and now he's spoken up and he kind of wants to participate
nice.
in progressing.
Yeah.
And like you said, getting more like-minded individuals to further a vision.
Yeah.
And I can see it going really well. And I'd invite anyone to be a part of the 12th and go check out, obviously, Anthem Brewing. I was driving by there the other day, and this is not a cut, but this is funny to me. You go, and we'll wrap this up. I can ramble a little bit, but you never judge a book by its cover, you hear.
Yes.
I do believe that. I also think sometimes you get it right, though. And I think
For
that
sure.
because I'm driving by the brewery,
Yeah.
and I saw like a younger lumberjackish
Yeah.
with the rolled up jean and just like a really handsome, looks like he probably has oil for it.
Yeah.
And it's like, how did I know you're going to come out of there?
Yeah.
So if you want to find beard oil, beer, period, or just support local brewing, Anthem Brewing, who will be a part of the Seventh Day Rebellion on March the 12th at Bandy's Barbecue.
Nice. Oh, I need to try that barbecue too.
Man, how did I leave that out?
Also, the plug, right? Like if somebody want Blake to eat some stuff and demo him.
I will absolutely go anywhere and eat anything that is paid for by you, as long as it's close and accessible.
Yeah. Nice.
Key West preferably.
QS, yeah, for sure. And then I will be there, and then either video or whatever. And I would like to see what you're doing, and then maybe make whatever. And then I love what you're doing for like a promotion stuff, and I didn't know what you were doing. And then also I love putting a promotion together too, because it's for me, like you say, you can't have a fun at the same time, but whenever I see people having a good time, you kind of just go to a little corner and then look at them and say, man, I put this
100%
for them.
I 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
To clarify, I would just say that it's a different kind of fun and fulfillment. It's the whole saying, don't get high on your own supply.
Yeah.
It's like when you're facilitating an event like that, that is very gratifying. Obviously, there has to be that kind of payoff, because the amount of time you put into something cannot be justified financially, really, if you think about it.
Yeah.
But when you do get that payoff of people just really enjoying their time on the stage or time at the bar, or you just see conversations happening and people reconnecting.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right there. We're like, this is so much better than being on that side of it anyway.
Yeah.
So I agree with you.
Man, thanks for coming, man.
Yes, Kay. Thanks for having me. This is an excellent podcast.
That was fun. And then, this is episode 14. We're going to wrap it up. And then Blake Lankford. And then I'm going to put description to what he said over here. Make sure like and comment. And then subscribe. So always be frank and drink ton of water and get jacked. Peace.